We're going to do 3 angle of elevation depression problems, and make sure you have a calculator handy because you need trig functions, some sort of a calculator with sine, cosine, and tangent. It can be okay if you just want to use Desmos on the computer. All right, one is flying a kite. The kite is 300 feet above the ground. So notice right here where we already have the label for you. And in the future, you're going to be drawing these diagrams based on the picture. The angle that the kite makes with the ground is 50 degrees. It's this right here. And then how long is the kite string means we're trying to get the hypotenuse. So standing at the reference angle of 50, I have an opposite side and a hypotenuse. So which trig function uses opposite and hypotenuse? You got it, it's a sine function. So we say sine of 50 degrees is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. Now notice the variable in the denominator, which means this is the divide problem, and here's why. We multiply by the x just to bring it upstairs, and that leaves us x sine of 50 equal to 300, dividing both sides by the sine of 50. So into your calculator right now, please go 300 divided by the sine of 50. I'm typing it in mine. And I get 391.62 feet. Okay, so this is a word problem where you set up a little triangular diagram and we can use trig to solve it. This one happened to be an angle of elevation problem, meaning that the angle was being pressed up from the ground level. Okay, let's go look at the next one. So pause the video, see if you can set up the triangle diagram for the next one on your own. Okay, Betty's cat ran up a tree. Betty is standing 14 feet from the tree. The angle of elevation from Betty to the cat is 62 degrees. So here's Betty. Pretend like that's a body and some arms and legs. And then the angle of elevation, 62. Here's the tree with the cat. Okay. And how far from Betty to the tree, they said is 14 feet. How far up the tree is the cat? So we're trying to find the opposite side, not the hypotenuse. Okay, so which trig function, so I'm standing here at the 62, uses the opposite, the x, and the adjacent? It's a TOA function. So tangent of 62 is equal to opposite over adjacent, and this one's the multiply problem. Oops. So into your calculator, please put 14 times the tangent of 62. I'm grabbing my calculator to do this too. .33 feet. All right, last one. A 25-foot ladder is leaning against a building. The base or bottom of the ladder is 10 feet from the building. So building, ladder, base. Okay, so this says the base of the ladder is 10 feet from the building. And this says, what angle measure? Ooh, it's an inverse trig. I didn't even warn you. What is the angle measure that the ladder makes to the ground? So that's going to be trying to find this angle. And they also told us that it's a 25 feet ladder. So we've got a 10 feet adjacent and a 25-foot ladder. So what uses the adjacent and the hypotenuse? You got it, it's a cosine. So cosine of x is equal to adjacent over hypotenuse. And how do I undo cosine? I have to do the inverse cosine of both sides. So cosine -1 of cosine is just x. It undoes the cosine. And then over here, what I'm actually going to type into the calculator is second cosine of the -1 of 10 over 25. So you have to figure out how to use that button. So I'm grabbing my calculator and I'm typing in second cosine. There's my inverse cosine of 10 divided by 25. I'm getting 66.42, and that is degrees because that's an angle measure, not feet, because it's not a side. It is this angle right here. How'd you do?